Madam, my hand is too fat. The pen is suffering. If she stands there, the veranda will break.
This is the story about a girl I know. Her name is Akwaeke.
Akwaeke, the girl everyone laughed at. The first time I noticed Akwaeke, I was in JSS 2. I'm not proud of what I'm about to say, but I need to say it the way it happened. In our village, people didn't just notice you, they named you, they labeled you, they reduced you. And Akwaeke, they reduced her to her size. They didn't call her Akwaeke most times. They called her Fatty. Some called her Big Body. Some called her Elephant. It was cruel, it was common, and it was normal in a way that makes me sick now. I know because I was there. I was her classmate, not her friend, not her enemy, just someone who watched and watched and watched. Akwaeke used to sit at the back of the class, not because she wanted to, but because the desks were small and tight, and if she sat in front, people would complain that they couldn't see the board. Teachers didn't even try to stop it. They acted like the insults were jokes. One day, our English teacher entered and saw that Akwaeke was writing slowly, her big fingers gripping her pen tightly. A boy in front shouted, "Madam, her hand is too fat, the pen is suffering." The class exploded with laughter. Akwaeke did not laugh. She just kept writing, and her eyes stayed on her notebook like it was the only safe place left on earth. I remember her face. She had this quiet look, like she was always expecting the next insult, like she was always ready to swallow another shame. That same week, during break time, some girls surrounded her near the tap where we used to fetch drinking water. One girl said, "Akwaeke, you will finish all the water in the tap." Another one poked her side and said, "Is it true that you eat garri with spoon?" Akwaeke tried to walk away, but they followed. Someone held her bag and ran. Akwaeke chased her for a few steps, then stopped. She was breathing hard. Her face got red. Her eyes got wet. The thief threw her bag in the sand and shouted, "See her, she can't even run." More laughter. Then someone said the worst thing. "You are fat because no man wants your mother, so she's feeding you everything." That one did not sound like a joke. It sounded like hate. Akweke's lips trembled. She picked up her bag and walked away. She didn't fight. She didn't curse. She didn't shout. She just walked away. That was how she always did. At first, I thought she was weak, but later I started thinking maybe she was tired, because the bullying did not stop in school. It followed her home. We lived in the same part of the village, near the old football field and the market road. My mother sold vegetables. Her mother sold smoked fish. Our mothers knew each other, but they were not friends. Everyone knew Akweke's house because of the shouting. The neighbors used to mock her loudly, like they wanted her to hear. If she passed, someone would say, "This one will block the whole road." If she went to buy bread, the woman would say, "One loaf is not enough for her, give her 3. If she sat outside in the evening to breathe small air, boys would gather and sing songs about her body. Even adults joined. Sometimes, I would see Akweke's mother arguing with people. "Leave my child alone," she would shout. But once an adult starts insulting a child, the child has no chance. They would laugh at her mother too. They would say, "Madam, manage your daughter, she's too much." Some people even said Akwaeke was cursed. That part annoyed me because it was not true. Akwaeke was just big, that was it. But people in our village didn't need truth. They needed a reason to be wicked. And Akwaeke was easy target. So she became lonely. She stopped staying outside. She stopped playing. She stopped smiling. In school, she started eating alone. And let me tell you something. When a child eats alone every day, it is not because she likes peace. It is because everybody else has decided she doesn't deserve company. I remember one afternoon after closing, the rain started falling. Heavy rain, the type that makes the ground smell like fresh clay. Most students ran and crowded under the classroom veranda. Akwaeke was there too, hugging her bag, looking at the rain. Then one boy shouted, "If she stands there, the veranda will break." People laughed again. Akwaeke turned and walked into the rain, just like that. She walked into the heavy rain like she wanted to disappear inside it. I watched her go. I didn't call her back. I didn't even think, I just watched. That night, I saw her again on my way home. She was still walking slowly, soaked, mud on her slippers, hair wet. She passed me and did not look up, but I saw her eyes, red. Not from rain, from crying. And that was the first time I felt something in my chest. Not pity, not love, just discomfort. Like I was watching something wrong and pretending it was normal. Then something happened that changed everything. It happened on a Saturday. There was noise in the village early morning. Drums, whistles, shouting. My mother said the king was coming to inspect the new community hall site. It was a big deal. In our village, the king did not move like normal people. When he moved, the whole village moved. Everyone rushed outside. Women tied new wrappers. Men wore caps. Youth swept roads. Children lined up to greet. Even people who had no food in their pot wanted to look important that day. I followed the crowd to the market road. We stood there waiting. Then the convoy came. Not like city convoy with police sirens, but still, it had power. 2 black SUVs, a pickup truck with palace guards, and one old but clean car in the middle, the king's car. People started chanting, "Eziayi, Eziayi." The king stepped out slowly, wearing a red cap and beads. He was tall, old. His face looked hard, like someone who had heard too many lies in his life. He walked with chiefs behind him. Everybody bowed. Everybody. Then something strange happened. The king's eyes moved away from the crowd. He looked across the road, and that was where Akwaeke was standing, alone, under a mango tree. She wasn't dressed like others. She wore a simple faded gown, no makeup, no jewelry, just her. Her mother was not even with her. She looked like someone who didn't plan to come out, but came out because the noise was too much. The king stared at her. People noticed. The chanting reduced. The air changed. Then the king did something no one expected. He walked towards her. Not fast, just steady. Everybody shifted. Some people started whispering, "Why is he going to her? What did she do? Is it a curse?" Akwaeke's eyes widened. The king stopped in front of her and he asked her a simple question. "What is your name?" Akwaeke swallowed. "Akwaeke, my king," she said. The king looked at her for a long moment and said something that made my skin tighten. "You are the one." That was all. "You are the one." Then he turned to his guards and said, "Bring her." People gasped. Akwaeke's eyes widened. "Bring her to the palace," the king said. Akwaeke looked around like she thought it was a joke, but the guard stepped forward. And the crowd, the same crowd that mocked her every day, opened road for her like she was sacred. I couldn't move. My mouth went dry. Akwaeke looked back once like she was searching for help. And nobody helped, not even me. Then they took her, just like that. And that was the beginning of the problem, because from that moment, Akwaeke stopped being just a fat girl. She became palace matter. And in our village, once you enter palace matter, you don't come out the same. The palace eventually chose her. After the king took Akwaeke, the whole village became loud. People who used to insult her now acted like they loved her. That's how humans are. When power touches someone, everybody suddenly remembers manners. That same evening, women gathered near my mother's stall, gossiping. One said, "Maybe she is the king's lost child." Another said, No, the king doesn't have daughters like that." Someone else said, "Maybe she used juju." Then a man said, "Whatever it is, the palace doesn't pick anyhow. Something is there." Nobody asked one simple question. How does Akwaeke feel? Because in that village, we didn't care about feelings. We cared about stories. 2 days later, a palace messenger came to Akwaeke's mother's house. He came with 2 guards. He told her mother to come to the palace. Everyone followed at a distance like a movie. I followed too. I won't lie, I wanted to see. At the palace gate, we stopped. Only Akwaeke's mother entered. We waited outside, sweating. After some time, she came out. Her face was pale. Not happy, not proud, pale. People rushed her. What did they say? What is happening? She did not answer. She only said, "Leave me, let me go home." Then she started crying. That was when I knew this was not good news. That night, my mother said the palace wanted Akwaeke to start coming regularly. For what? No one knew. But the palace began to send things. Not money at first. Food, rice, oil, canned milk, even a whole carton of biscuits. People whispered again. They are feeding her so she can become even bigger. Some laughed, some envied. But Akwaeke did not show up in the village much. When she did, she looked different. Not slimmer, not suddenly beautiful like fairy tales, just different. Her eyes were not the same. She stopped looking down. She started walking like someone trying to be brave. One afternoon, I saw her behind our school block alone. I don't know why I went to her. Maybe guilt, maybe curiosity. I stood beside her and said softly, "Akwaeke." She looked at me. I expected her to ignore me, but she answered, "Ngozi." That was my name. It shocked me that she knew it. I said, "Are you okay?" She did not answer quickly. Then she said, "They want to use me." That was all. They want to use me. My body went cold. "Who?" I asked. "The palace," she said. "For what?" I asked again. She shook her head slowly. Then she whispered, "The king said I was chosen." "Chosen for what?" I pressed. She looked away and swallowed. Then she whispered, "For marriage." I almost laughed because it sounded impossible. Marriage? The king was old? But then she added quickly, "Not the king." She paused. "The prince." My heart dropped. Everybody in our village knew the prince. Prince Obina, young, rich, always looking clean, always acting like he owned the air. Girls chased him like he was a prize, but he never picked any. Now they were saying he wanted Akwaeke. Akwaeke? The girl they mocked? The girl they called names? I looked at her and said, "Are you sure?" She nodded, eyes shining with fear. He came to the room where they kept me. He looked at me like meat. That line made my stomach turn. Then she said something I will never forget. He said, "You are perfect. No one will take you from me." I didn't know what to say. Akwake's hands were shaking. She said the palace women started teaching her how to sit, how to greet, how to speak. They measured her body. They brought new clothes, but not like they wanted to make her feel loved, more like they wanted to package her, like a gift, like property. When I told my mother, she hissed and said, "Palace matter." Then she said something that scared me. Sometimes princes don't pick women because they love them. They pick women because they want to prove they can. That night, I couldn't sleep because I remembered how everyone treated Akwaeke, and I started thinking, what if this was not blessing? What if this was another kind of bullying just with gold around it? Then the next thing happened. Akwaeke disappeared. Not like she traveled, like she vanished from normal life. She stopped coming to school. They said the palace said she would continue later, but months passed, no Akwaeke. Her mother stopped selling fish at the junction. She started wearing better wrappers, but her face looked older. People started calling Akwaeke our princess, even though nobody saw her. And the bullying changed into worship. That was when I understood something. People don't stop being wicked. They just change style. What I saw that made me fear the palace. It was during the New Yam festival that I saw Akwaeke again. The whole village gathered at the palace square. Drummers played, masquerades danced, chiefs sat on canopies, women carried trays of food. I went with my mother. Everybody was excited because they said the prince would show his new bride. Those were the exact words, new bride. The crowd waited like it was entertainment. Then the prince came out. He was dressed in expensive white. He walked like he was the only real person there. People clapped. Then Akwaeke came out behind him, and the whole place went silent. She was dressed in beautiful wrapper and beads, but her face was not there. That's the best way I can explain it. Her body was there, but her face looked empty, like someone whose spirit was tired. People still clapped. They did not notice, or they pretended not to notice. The prince held her hand too tight. I saw it. Her fingers looked stiff. Then the prince smiled at the crowd and said, "Do you see? Even the one you rejected has become my own." That line hit me like stone, because it was not love. It was a statement, a trophy, a trophy. Akwaeke did not smile. She just stood there. I watched her eyes scan the crowd like she was searching for one safe face. Then our eyes met for 1 second, and I swear her eyes begged me, not for money, not for fame, for help. But what could I do? I was just a girl. After the festival, rumors started. Some said Akwaeke was pregnant. Some said she was sick. Some said she was eating too much in the palace. Then one night, I heard shouting near Akwaeke's old street. I stepped outside. I saw Akwaeke's mother running towards the palace road crying. People followed. I followed too. At the palace gate, guards blocked her. She shouted, "Where is my daughter?" The guards did not answer. She cried harder and said, "I want to see her." A chief came out and said, "Go home. Everything is under control." Akwaeke's mother screamed, "It is not under control. I saw bruises on her arm last time." My whole body froze. Bruises? The chief's face hardened. He said, "Woman, you are talking too much." Then the guards pushed her. Not hard, but enough to shame her. She fell. People gasped. Then something happened that made me stop breathing. Akwaeke's mother shouted one sentence, "My daughter is not a goat." The gate closed, just like that. The next day, nobody talked about it openly. In our village, fear makes people dumb. 2 weeks later, I saw Akwaeke by accident. It was early morning. I was going to buy bread. A black car passed slowly and stopped near the old clinic. The door opened and I saw her. In the back seat, her face was turned away, but I recognized her head wrap. Then she turned slightly and I saw her eyes again. They were swollen, like she had been crying for days. Then I saw it, a dark mark near her cheek, like she had been hit. The car moved again. My legs shook. I followed at a distance until the car entered the palace road and disappeared. That was when I understood the truth. The palace did not save Akwaeke. It only changed the kind of cage she was in. Before, the village bullied her with words. Now, she was trapped where nobody could reach her. I wanted to tell someone, but who? If you speak against palace, you can lose your father's business, your mother's store, your school chance. So people kept quiet, even me. Then the final thing happened. One morning, we heard the palace bell ring. That bell only rings for announcements. The town crier said the prince's wife had traveled for treatment. Treatment, that was the word. But days passed, weeks passed, no Akwaeke. Her mother stopped coming out completely. Then one evening, I saw Akwaeke's mother leaving town with a small bag, the same way that flashback girl left in my mother's old story. I ran to her. "Mama Akwaeke," I called. She looked at me with tired eyes. I said, "Where is Akwaeke?" Her lips shook. Then she said, very quietly, "If you see a palace picking someone again, pray for them." That was all she said. Then she walked away. I stood there shaking, because till today, nobody has confirmed where Akwaeke is. Some say she died, some say she ran away, some say she is still in the palace, hidden. But I know what I saw. I saw a girl who was bullied because of her size. Then I saw the palace choose her, and instead of rescue, she entered another kind of bullying, one with silence. So when people ask me why I fear princes, I don't talk too much. I just remember Akwaeke's eyes, the eyes that begged, the eyes that nobody answered. And that is why sometimes when I wake up at night, I still feel like someone is watching me. Not like a ghost, like power, like the palace, like the kind of eyes that decide your life without asking you. And once those eyes notice you, you may never be free again.